Alrighty, we have made it, folks. What is going on, folks? My name is Spice. This is Spice Can't Fish. So I am just now heading back from the New England Fishing Expo. If you guys saw probably my last unboxing video, I actually went all the way up to Marlborough, Massachusetts. It's about a 3.5 hour drive from where I live on Long Island, but I went up there specifically to go check out the Northeast Freshwater Fishing Expo. I've been hearing about this thing for a few years now. I've always wanted to go, but I've just been in Colorado the last couple of years and I just haven't really had a chance to go. Last year I couldn't make it happen, but this year I made sure to get up there and oh my God, was it incredible. If you guys want to see that unboxing video, I'll leave it linked down below for you guys. But in today's video, we're gonna head on into Bass Pro Shops. Like I said, I'm on the way home from the expo, and on the way back, I actually passed right by the Bridgeport Bass Pro Shops. I almost never pass by this place, but in the last couple of months, I've actually passed by it twice. But every time I pass by, I try and at least stop in for a little bit just to see if I can get anything. And in today's video, well, I got myself a nice little gift card. My parents were nice enough to get me a $50 Bass Pro Shops gift card for Christmas, so we're gonna head on in there, see if we can blow this on some stuff. Again, I just spent a ton of money on some fishing stuff, so I really don't know what else I could possibly need, but we got about 50 bucks to burn in here. We're gonna see what we can find. But yeah, I'm gonna head on inside, and again, the goal for today's video is to try and spend right about $50. I'm gonna try and get as close to that $50 price point as absolutely possible. We're not gonna factor in tax because obviously I don't really want to try and do that math in my head. And I got a couple of singles in my pocket anyway, so we're just gonna use the singles for that. But we're gonna try and do like a $50 Bass Pro Shops challenge today. And yeah, we're gonna head on in there and we'll see what I can find for about 50 bucks. Alrighty, folks, we got ourselves yet another nice little sack of bass. Oh, well, the light turned off. There we go. I don't even know if you guys can see that, but we got ourselves a nice little sack of Bass Pro Shops goodies. I was trying to count to make sure that I didn't go super out of budget to end up having to pay an extra $9.70 on top of that gift card. But yeah, we got ourselves yet another sack of fishing lures here, which I am super stoked about. It was mostly soft plastics just because I feel like I mainly buy soft plastics these days. I have most of all the hard baits that I need, so I'm just trying a bunch of new soft baits at this point. But yeah, I got a bunch of new stuff to try out. So once we get home, I'm gonna go through this little bag of stuff and I'll show you what we picked up. Alrighty, folks, just got home, got ourselves a nice little bag of some stuff from Bass Pro Shops. I went in there again just trying to spend that little $50 gift card. Ended up spending about $60 overall with tax and all that stuff. But that's not too bad, and I ended up getting a pretty solid bag of some stuff, which I was kind of surprised about. As you guys know, I just came back from the Northeast Fishing Expo, so I went and spent way too much money over there. If you guys want to see that unboxing video, that was the last video that came out. I'll leave that link down below for you guys. So I walked into Bass Pro, not honestly thinking I was going to find all too much that I needed or really wanted, but ended up with a nice little bag of stuff. Most of it is soft baits, and then I just got like 1 or 2 extra jigs to round out my jig arsenal, because you could never have enough of those. But yeah, I got a big old bag of some soft plastics to go through, so I'm going to get these laid out and find a little bit of an order to go through these. And we'll break everything down and I'll show you what I got. Alright, so like I said, I got mostly soft plastic, so we're just going to go through the couple of jigs that I got real quick. Picked up yet another one of these Strike King Bitsy Bugs. I really like these things. I always like to have a bunch of them on hand. They're just a smaller presentation jig. If you want to throw something with a full skirt that's still like that finessier profile, that's a great option. They come in a bunch of like smaller, finessier sizes. They come up to like a 3/8 of an ounce, I think. Might even be able to find them in a 1/2 ounce, but most of the time you'll see them in like 3/8, 1/4, or this one, which is a 3/16. And this one's just in a standard green pumpkin color. It's about all they had out there. They didn't really have too many color options for these guys, so just picked up a green pumpkin one. Then I also got one of the Bass Pro Shops tungsten finesse jigs. Figured I'd try one of these things out. This is just a black and blue color, as you could probably see. This is again a 3/16 ounce jig, so a little like sub 1/4 ounce finesse jig. Haven't tried these ones out, so I figured I'd grab one. Again, they are made of tungsten, so they're a little bit higher quality, but they are pretty good in terms of price. I think these things only cost you like $3 or $4 or something like that. Again, they are Bass Pro Shops versions, so they are not necessarily going to be the highest quality in terms of like the skirt material and all that. But I figured I'd pick one up just to check it out. Again, I've never thrown them before, so we'll give them a shot, see how they do. Alrighty, funnily enough, I picked up a couple of jigs, but I didn't really get anything that could be used for a jig trailer. I just have a ton of that stuff already, so I didn't really see anything that really piqued my interest, but I did pick up these little Ugly Otters by Gambler. This is a super old pack of these baits. I don't think I've seen this style packaging in a good long time. They don't even have like a rip thing here. You actually have to cut the package open before you use it. But this is the green pumpkin jelly color, so it's green pumpkin on one side and then just kind of like the jelly part of the peanut butter and jelly, like that bright purple kind of color. But yeah, really like the Gambler stuff. I feel like they're a very underappreciated bait company. I don't see a lot of people outside of the people in Florida throwing them, but they definitely catch fish. So I figured I'd pick up back to the flipping baits. Hopefully I can get on a good flipping bite this year and we'll be able to play around with these things a little bit, see what they're made of. Funnily enough, everything else that I picked up, with the exception of these two baits right here, are some sort of worm, whether it's a finesse worm or a curly tail worm or a cut tail worm. You guys will see, but I got a lot of worms in today's video for whatever reason. But yeah, we're gonna start off with these two guys. I got 2 packs of the new XPS Rockin' Shads. These are kind of like a fluke or shad style bait. I think they're actually designed to be used on like a hover shot rig or something to be used with forward facing sonar, but as you guys know, I don't forward facing sonar. I don't have the capability to do that, so I'm just gonna be using these things as a fluke. They got a pretty cool design to them. They've got these weird little wings on them, which I guess again are probably designed to help the bait roll when you're using it as a hover shot bait. But I'm probably going to use these again, like I said, as a fluke, just weightless. So I'm really interested to see what these things actually make the bait do in the water. Again, I got 2 different packs, 2 different colors. We got the Bolt color right here, which is kind of like a more natural shad kind of color. Very light, very opaque, just kind of like a light gray on top and then like an even lighter gray on the bottom. And we also got a pack of the green gizzard color, which is again more of like that green gizzard shad. So it's got kind of like a brownish greenish back and then more of like a silvery belly. It's a very similar color to like an Arkansas Shiner. I really like that color, so I figured this one's gonna do just as well. But yeah, got a couple extra packs of these flukes to try out, see what we can do with them. Sticking with the lures from Bass Pro Shops, we got ourselves a pack of the Flickin' Shimmy worms. This is in the plum color, which is going to be absolutely perfect for later in the season, especially around the summertime. Those fish really like that plum color. The Flickin' Shimmy is, as you guys could imagine, is a flick shake or like a wacky rig specific kind of worm. The widest part of the bait is actually dead center, as opposed to a lot of other finesse worms, which has kind of like an off-center widened area. But yeah, these are specifically designed to be fished on like a wacky rig or a flick shake or something like that. I'm definitely going to be throwing these things on a wacky rig. Again, I feel like I go through worms really fast, especially a wacky rig presentation. I feel like I'm losing worms almost every single fish I catch. I figured I'd pick up a pack of these because they're less expensive, you get more per pack, and they seem like they're pretty solid baits, although I've never tried these specifically. But yeah, just got ourselves a little downsized wacky worm for throwing around some smaller ponds. Should be great for some more pressured fish, especially again, like I said, around the summertime. For whatever reason, fish really like that plum color in the summertime. I don't know if it's just like a mood thing or if they just really like that really aggressive red color, but for whatever reason, they really like that reddish purplish color in the summertime. So figured I'd pick these up for again when I'm fishing those super pressured ponds. Those fish seem to absolutely love a wacky rig, especially a little bit more downsized ones. So figured those would be a perfect option for that. Downsizing even more, I picked up not 1, not 2, but 3 packs of the Chompers drop shot worms. These are a bunch of different colors of these things, obviously, but got a couple of packs of them. Again, they are designed for a drop shot, so they're little 4-inch baits, but again, you could also use these as a super micro finesse wacky rig. Should be again perfect paired up with like a really thin hook for those pressured pond fish. So got a few different colors of these things, like I said. First up, we got ourselves the dark melon pepper, which is very similar to like a watermelon pepper, just a little bit darker of a green color. Then we got ourselves a pack of the watermelon red and purple flake ones, which are again a little bit more standoutish, but still super natural, really great for that clean water. And last up, we got ourselves another pack of plum worms. Again, these are the little 4-inch ones, so should be absolutely perfect again for that summertime. Again, like I said, those fish love that plum color in the summer. I don't know what the deal is, but got ourselves another pack of plum worms to throw around on a drop shot for when those fish are feeling super pressured in that summertime heat. I've thrown a couple of packs of the Chompers baits in the past, never thrown these ones before though, but they look like absolutely fantastic little baits. Again, specifically designed for a drop shot application, but should be great for a wacky rig as well. And the Chompers baits, very similar to Gambler's baits, have a really heavy garlic scent to them, so I'm not going to pull these guys out of the package, but just so you guys know, they're a bunch of small little finesse worms. Alrighty, next up we got ourselves a couple of packs of some new Live Target soft plastics. I've never even seen or heard of these things before, but this is just their new straight tail worm. Got a pack of the 5.5 inch and the pack of the 6.5 inch. The 5.5 inch we got in green and blue, which is kind of like a green pumpkin on top and then just like a pro blue shad kind of color on the bottom. Very similar to like a KVD Magic kind of color. Super subtle, super good for like clear water and really pressured fish. And again, that's the 5.5 inch size, so it'll be perfect again for like a smaller wacky rig or a drop shot or something like that. You could also throw this on a smaller shaky head and that would do really well. You could probably throw all these smaller straight tail worms on a shaky head or a Texas rig or something as well, but if I'm doing that, I usually tend to go with something like a 5.5 inch or a 6.5 inch worm. So we got some of the 5.5 inch. We also got a pack of the 6.5 inch in the chartreuse and brown color, which is a little bit more of a standout color. Again, should be perfect for the summertime. When those fish are feeding up on bluegill and they're looking for something with a little bit of chartreuse in it, a little bit of flash, this is going to be an absolutely killer color. I actually had a lot of success on a very similar color by Lake Fork Trophy Lures in their ring fry, and that color was super bright and standoutish, so a little bit more subtle, more natural colors should do even better. But yeah, again, never heard anything about these straight tail worms from Live Target. Super excited to throw them around. They each come in a 10 pack, I believe, so definitely getting your money's worth. They were a little bit more pricey, as you could probably imagine from anything Live Target. They're more of a name brand bait, even though a lot of their baits don't work super well. But yeah, got a couple of baits from Live Target that I'm actually really excited to throw around, which is not something that I say very often. Alright, and the last pack of finesse worms that I picked up are going to be these NetBait Magnum T-Max. I think these are like 6.5 or 7.5 inches, something like that. They don't have an actual size on here, but these are big shaky head worms. This is the Tilapia Magic color, so it's like a green pumpkin with a bunch of different rainbow style flakes in it. Really good looking color. I like that color a whole bunch. Haven't thrown a lot of the NetBait stuff around. I've thrown their Packet Crawl a good bit, but other than that, I haven't really tried any of their other baits, so really excited to throw this thing around and see if we can catch a couple of fish on it. But again, really picked it up for the size, the color, and the fact that it came in a 16 pack. You don't really see that in a lot of other finesse worms besides the Zoom finesse worm. Most of them will come in like an 8 pack or a 6 pack or even a 10 pack, but you don't really see like 16, 20 packs all too often. So yeah, figured I'd hop on the opportunity to try a new bait. Again, it's just kind of like a normal finesse worm, so I can't imagine it won't work. But yeah, just a little bit of an upsized presentation. Again, perfect on a shaky head. You could also throw this on like a Texas rig or just like a wacky rig if you really wanted to. But I feel like when you're throwing a bait this big on a wacky rig, you just tend to lose a lot more baits than you get fish. I probably won't be throwing this on a wacky rig. I feel like if you throw like a giant worm like this on a wacky rig, a lot of the time you'll just lose the worm. The fish will just end up biting the ends of it. They won't really get the hook too often. But I can definitely see these things on a weightless Texas rig, or especially on a shaky head. These will be absolutely killer. So really excited to throw these things around this summer once those fish are looking for a little bit bigger bait. Alrighty, these last two baits are not actually finesse worms. They're a little bit different, so something a little bit more interesting for you guys to look at. I honestly didn't realize how many finesse worms I picked up until I just went through this whole bag and realized most of the stuff that I picked up was some sort of a finesse worm. But yeah, I picked up a pack of the Thumpin' Dingers by Yum. This is very similar to their normal dinger, which is like their Senko style bait, but they put a little cut tail on it, so it's now more of like a swimming worm style bait. I don't really throw a swimming worm all too much, but I have caught a few fish on them, and it's something that I think a lot of people don't utilize very often. But yeah, this is the black and blue laminate color, so a little bit different than a black and blue flake. The top of it's just a pure black, and then the bottom half is like a bright blue laminated color. Just a little bit brighter, something a little bit different than the standard black and blue. I don't really think it makes that much of a difference, but I didn't see any of the normal black and blue in there, so figured I'd pick up the next closest thing. And yeah, these things look pretty sweet. They come in 10 packs, so definitely get your money's worth there. And yeah, really excited to throw these things around. I know a lot of people don't really like the standard Yum Dinger. They don't think that it has a lot of shimmy as it falls, but again, these are a different application. I wouldn't throw these weightless like you would a normal dinger. And I think that curl tail will add enough action by itself that these things will definitely get bit. Alright, and these last baits that I got are a pack of Yamamoto Swim Senkos. Again, another bait that I really don't throw very often. This is essentially just a Senko with a boot style tail on it. It's a nice in between a normal Senko and like a swim bait. It's something a little bit different. Again, a little bit of a different profile, a little thinner. And again, I feel like it's a profile that a lot of people don't really throw. Again, very similar to that swimming dinger. It's just not something that a lot of people around here especially are picking up. And so I figured I may as well grab some. Again, throw something a little different at these fish. Maybe they'll react to it a little bit better. And again, this is another bait that I haven't really had any sort of experience with. Obviously, I've thrown my fair share of soft plastic swim baits, so this shouldn't be too different. And I've caught the snot out of fish on a Senko, as I'm sure all of us have. So again, a nice little in-between between those two should be kind of fun to throw around. But yeah, that's just about everything that I got. Again, I was really only trying to spend about $50, ended up spending about 60 bucks or so with the tax and everything. But I feel like we got a pretty good solid selection of some baits. Again, it was mostly finesse worms for whatever reason. That was just what I was gravitating towards. If you guys want to see all these baits in action, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. If you guys like the unboxing style videos, hit that like button and make sure you subscribe to make sure you don't miss anything in the future. Check them and rack them, and I'll catch you on the next one. I'm out. Peace.